Here we go. Feature bout in the welterweight division between Mickey Gall and CM Punk. A lot of action on Gall, as we mentioned, within the last several days or so, it would appear. Mickey Gall now minus 435. CM Punk is the plus 350 underdog. Ken Flo, who do you like?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Mickey Gall. I just, watching CM Punk and watching him train, I think it's going to be very difficult for him to go in there and beat a guy like Mickey Gall. I think Mickey has the ability to finish CM Punk. He's got more experience, and he's shown that he's not a guy who's going to freak out. I was really impressed with his composure in his first fight in the UFC, and I think we're going to continue to see that composure, and he will get the win and a finish over CM Punk.
All right, Julio, what kind of chance you giving CM Punk against Mickey Gall here?
I think he's got a decent chance, but I don't think so. This is a guy who started training MMA in his mid to late 30s. His body's been ravaged by injuries over the years. I don't think people realize how brutal that being a pro wrestler can be on your body. Mickey Gall knew what he wanted to do since he was a sophomore in high school, and he's been working steadily towards it. I think Punk's going to be having to think, while Gall's going to just be reacting and acting instinctively. So I go with Mickey Gall as well. Finish first round.
Dude, we might have to book Julio for a guest spot, man.
This guy knows
to break down fights. But I just wanted to ask you about CM Punk and Mickey Gall, because there are a lot of knowns about CM Punk. And the things that we know are that he is a hard worker, that he is coachable, that he has a great attitude, that he has a lot of respect for the game and his fellow mixed martial artists. What we don't know is where his skills are relative to where they were 18 months or so ago when he embarked on this journey. So, he's going to move the needle. He's going to sell a lot of pay-per-views this weekend. Your thoughts on CM Punk's UFC debut finally here against Mickey Gall in 5 days?
And he seems to be a hell of a guy and a hell of a great teammate as well. And I think he's got the right attitude heading into this. I don't think he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. And I think he's with the right camp, all those things. And he's working very hard, as you said. The problem is, at his age, to come in, unless you're an insane kind of athlete, it's hard to make up for that lost time. And CM Punk, from what I see, isn't an insane athlete. Very few people are. That's a rare commodity these days. And Mickey Gall, while he's not necessarily an amazing athlete or anything, he is a guy who is very calm, who's not going to get overly emotional. He's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I believe. You just see the contrast of CM Punk getting a stripe on his white belt, and then you see Mickey Gall, training with a good team as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt. So he maybe doesn't have a lot of mixed martial arts, fights on his record, but he does have a lot of experience, training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, training in mixed martial arts for a long time. This is a kid who knew exactly what he wanted to do from a very early age. CM Punk decided to do this just a couple years ago in his mid-30s. So it's a very different scenario. And I admire what CM Punk is doing. I really do. I mean, who has the balls to do what he does, to go from a completely different arena into mixed martial arts where there's a lot of risk involved. So I admire him for that, but he definitely has a very tough fight in Mickey Gall.
And I thought you hit on a lot of important things when it comes to Mickey Gall, just the two pro fights. The first one last November, his pro debut, Dead Serious MMA was the show, I believe, in Philadelphia. And then, of course, submitted Mike Jackson in 45 seconds in his UFC debut. But, this kid looks like a badass, right? I mean, not just, it looks like a guy who might have a really bright future. So I think the one number that might be fooling people is just the two pro fights, to your point. I think the biggest problem for CM Punk might just be, that he's running into a guy that looks like he's got a lot of skills, and the mental game, to your point, seems to be there as well. As far as CM Punk is concerned, I agree with you. I mean, a lot of admiration for what he's doing. It sounds like he doesn't just want to fight Mickey Gall. He wants to honor what is a multi-fight contract with the UFC. Of course, we'll see how it goes in the debut, and we'll get a prediction from Ken Flo coming up here shortly.